You've used another example, and I think that has been, that I've heard regarding outdoor ballets and other treatment rooms other than what is in the spa. True?
Yeah, true. And my other favorite one is capture. It's the one I love talking to people about, because if I come to your spa and I have a massage, and then I have a facial, and then I have a manicure and a pedicure, am I one guest or am I three guests? Now, anybody watching this video is answering the question, and half of the people are saying one, and half of the people are saying three. And again, I'm not here to tell you what the right answer is. What I think it illustrates is that there's a difference. And in the places that count me as three guests, they're going to have a very high capture. In the places that count me as one guest, their capture is going to be far less. And until we all sit in a room and we write down the definition and we say this is the definition, you're not allowed to use any other formula, then we will never have consistent benchmarks for the spa industry. I've spent the last 10 months with Louisa Anderson and Four Seasons, and we have been doing just that. We have been aligning all 22 properties in Asia and recently Europe and the Middle East, where we've broken down every system that we've ever operated under, and it starts at the point of sale system. And the treatment menu is then streamlined to the correct revenue stream. So a massage is called a massage, body treatment under definition and parameters is called body, and so on and so forth. Now, everything that we're talking about, again, seems so easy and so, well, of course, that's the way it should be. Misinterpretations are beyond imaginable when it comes to this. We are now trying to gather, for Four Seasons, we're trying to gather consistent data that we as a brand can use. We are collecting our average treatment prices, the same way hotel rooms collect average room rates, under the exact same parameters. We are collecting our treatment hours available and treatment hours used, so we can have our treatment room occupancies under the exact same parameters. And then we are calculating RevPAR under the exact same parameters. And it's the same way hotels use average room rate, hotel occupancy, and RevPAR. And I think it's probably the most opportunistic time to be doing this. We have been experiencing a crisis globally in the economy. And what a great time to start collecting and having consistent, accurate data by which to measure how did we fare during this time. Did our treatment room occupancies grow? If they did, at what benefit or detriment to an average treatment price? What was our RevPAR? Did it go up or down in 2009? And then how did we recover as the economy started to come back? And I really do think, and everybody who knows me knows that I am passionate about this, because it does matter. Hotels have been doing it so well for hotels and for food and beverage for years. And some brands do it exceptionally well for spas, but not all.
No. So what would you recommend if I'm watching you this morning? What would you recommend, one, for a spa manager or spa director who says, you know, where do I start? What do I do? Or I've been collecting data, but no one seems to want to look at it. How can I make it more interesting, or how do I use it to make someone really look at it and help me do better with it?
It's a great question. I don't know if there's an easy answer to it. I think the easiest answer to how do you use data is, first of all, you have to be able to gauge how you're doing. Is your spa making money? If it is it making enough on the bottom line? Or is it not making enough and still spending too much?
But define enough, because for some...
Well, you have a budget, so it's already been defined in each spa, I would assume, where GMs and spa directors and directors of finance have sat around and determined, based on the year's budget of occupancies, how much spa revenue should you generate, how much should you be able to spend, and what should be your bottom line GOP. Now, if you are operating a spa and you have a budget, how are you performing? Are you making your top line? If you're not, how are your expenses? If you're looking at captures, are you looking at them, and are you looking at them the right way? And how far down can you break captures is an interesting point. And you know me with geographic mixes. Where are your hotel guests coming from? How well do you know the guest in your hotel? what is the typical profile of a spa user in your hotel or in your resort, because it is different, or in a standalone day
And it
spa.
changes seasonally, and it may change.
Depends on the region, I would say,
Right.
but I would agree with you. But how can you use the data? And I love saying the word data, but how can you use it? And your question of where do you start, I would suggest, like with anything, you start with your P&L, your profit and loss statement, and you start with your treatments, the statistics on your treatment. Everybody keeps this. There's no spa who doesn't know how many of a certain massage every month they sell. And you and I have been talking about this for 2 years. I would go to my treatment usage statistic page. I would see what are my, depending on how many treatments you have on your menu, what are my top 20 selling treatments and what are my bottom 10, and I would probably take the bottom 10 and get rid of them. Because something I don't think spas do very well is take things away.
No.
We add, oh, I have a new facial. Oh, I have a new cellulite reduction treatment. Oh, I have a new. But I still have the old. And that doesn't become very cost effective. You're still carrying back bar products. You have so many more treatments that therapists are expected to remember. Standards tend to slip because they can't remember sequences or product displays. And you really don't need them. Menu engineering, which I know is something that's a passion of yours, is something that spa directors and managers could probably spend a whole nother day on when it comes to school.
So you're saying start with treatment menu, statistics, data, work your way through what treatments are being sold, which ones aren't, remove some of them, then what?
Well, and I'll ask you about menu engineering in just a second because I know that's your passion, but when we talk about treatment statistics, we often use the word upsell. You hear it all the time, upsell, upsell. I don't know if I know what that actually means. Is it a more expensive treatment? Is the more expensive treatment actually your more profitable? Or is it your more expensive treatment to actually perform? So then is it really an upsell? Or are you just getting more money to give more money away? So I think it's knowing your product. It's knowing your product offering. It's knowing which ones the guests want and how are they working. Are they actually more profitable? Or is it costing you more? But you have to do a bit of research. You actually have to spend some time looking at it. And I don't suggest anybody, and for you product suppliers out there who are watching this, I apologize in advance, but when a product house gives you a cost per treatment, these were done, and again I am so sorry, but these were done under the most perfect of conditions in a lab where it's a dropper.
Right.
That's not the real spa world. It can be, but it isn't typically. You've got therapists who are rushing and doing things and they're measuring things out. So typically the measurements and the cost per treatment is not what it's actually costing.
They're more-ish.
Yeah.
More-ish.
And you have to take in all the other variables. There's labor variables, there's flour variables, so on and so forth. So I think starting in that general area, which is what treatments sell. Are they profitable for you? Which ones don't sell, and do you need to continue to carry them on the menu?
Okay.
I also think pricing is very important. And you should always, every 6 months, do a price comparison in your competitive set. You don't want to be the most expensive, and you don't want to be the least expensive, but you want to be competitive.